Welcome back to the Sonic Locker Room. This is Bill Althouse of Sideliner Sports, and we're celebrating our 18th year, bringing you the best and the brightest from Eastern Jackson County and the metro area. And it's always such a pleasure to visit with Michael Shortino, the boys track and field coach from Leesom West High School. And Michael, what a great opportunity, what great timing to have you on as a guest today. You just destroyed the competition at the Bob Thorpe Invitational last Friday down at Raymore Peculiar. 202 points. Ray Peck, an area power, was second with 161 points, and Grain Valley was third with 81 points. Did you just load this tournament with everybody?
We tried not to, actually. With the first meet of the year and it being cold and windy, we kind of limited, 2 entries, two events per kid. But we have some depth this year, so spreading out those guys, we can score. We can score in every event, and that's exactly what they did. It's always fun to kind of, I'm on them at practice for the first 3 weeks. But it's always fun just to kind of sit back and watch them do what they do best.
Were you out there in a Hawaiian shirt and shorts? I'm sure the weather was wonderful that night.
Well, I started in shorts and a T-shirt, and then I ended up in a big coat and pants on. So that's Missouri for you.
It is. You and I have both been doing this a long, long time, but I remember a spring where it was just nothing but ice. This year, I think like a couple of years ago, we're going to be battling the wind, and a lot of rain seems to be coming into the forecast later in the year. It's not just your team that's facing it. It's an opponent that you're competing against is facing it too. But do you work on anything to make your kids mentally strong in those conditions?
Well, yes, we do, because we go out and practice in it, and we haven't had a day inside yet. And I mean, it's been rare that we've practiced in the snow, but we practiced in the snow this year. Ooh. And that's what I told the team on Thursday. I go, guys, listen, you guys have seen it all. You've seen hot, you've seen cold. Mm-hmm. We know we can compete in all of it. So yeah, we do. I do think that's a mental preparation, is just being outside and practicing and working hard in those elements.
Tell us a little bit about your team. Do you have a nice mix of youngsters and then some veteran senior leaders?
We do. We do. We have a great mix, actually. We are fast on the track. That's probably where we have the most depth, is on the speed on the track.
Okay.
We have returners coming. Chris Harris is a big time returner. Harrison Perkins is a big time returner. Those guys can score at state for sure. Our relays, our 4x1, 4x2, are going to be the tops in the state. We'll be battling with the area schools with that. And there's not many seniors in that group, actually, which is crazy. When we get to distance, we're led by Landon Wegleitner, who's a returning all-stater from cross country, and he's going to lead the way. But our 4x8 is one of the top relays in the state, too. And then we get to our field, and it's just a mix of everybody. Luke Montino in shot is really stepping up this year right now for us. So, yeah, we have a good mix, good enough to where we can kind of sustain maybe some competitive teams the next few years.
When I started at the Examiner 43 years ago, I felt like I was being punished if I had to go out and cover a track and field event. The weather was bad. You never knew where you had to go to watch an event. Track and field is now my passion. I love it. It's, how do you create a team, a culture with a group of kids that may not even see each other throughout a meet?
Yeah, that's a big focus of mine. I make it a point to meet every day as a group, and we get our captains to lead our warm-ups, and we do that as a full team because, like you said, when you get to meet, and especially a meet like at Ray Peck, maybe yes. even, the throws are way off campus. They're not on the track.
Yeah.
And then the jumps are behind the press box. So you are spread out. So I do make it a point every day that we meet as a team. And matter of fact, I was telling a young pole vaulter the other day, I go, the reason you have to be here is so when we're cheering you on, they know who you are. Because there could be years where you don't know who a young pole vaulter is, and I want this kid to have the same recognition as our stud sprinters. So I do make it a point every day to meet as a team, to warm up as a team, and be a team.
How do you put together your relay teams?
Ooh, man, if I had a good way to do that, I would. People think it's, the stopwatch doesn't lie, and it doesn't, but there's a little bit more to that. Like, say at a conference meet, with the depth we have, we may not load a full relay. So it really is week to week. My main thing is, are we progressing? Okay. And is it best for that athlete? And then is it best for our team, obviously? So it changes. There's no perfect formula. I would say you could go with a stopwatch every time, but it's just not as simple as that. Especially as competitive as our area is, there's some things you have to do outside of relays to get the team to move on. So I have no real good answer for that. I wish I did.
Oh, no. I love to ask that question to coaches because basically get a different answer each time.
Yeah.
And,
well, I'll tell you, the easy way is let my assistant coaches decide, and I just go with what they say.
There you go. Go talk to the assistant, kids. I'm busy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How does it make your team better? How does it make your team more competitive being down here in Kansas City? Because there's nothing that you won't see here that you won't see in the postseason and at state.
Well, and I've kind of been telling my guys this, here's why we're working. And it's because we're staying in Kansas City for district sectionals. And those district sectional races or meets are prelims to the state. Yes. And I know like last year my 4x8 was fifth with the 744. Well, that would have been fifth at state. Wow. So there are going to be fifth place events that don't get to go to state. That could be all state. So we want the competition. Just bring it because it's only going to make us better. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. Bring everybody, bring all that you got, and we're gonna do our best with it.
Lee Summit, the community, has such a tremendous group of high school challenges. Lee Summit West always is in the tops. Lee Summit North, the original Lee Summit High School. What's it like having a competitive situation like that within your community?
Well, we just had our city tri meet last week too, but that competition breeds great performances, and the more that the three of us can get together and compete against each other, that's only going to make all three of us better. I know the sprint relays between all three schools are going to be hot this year. So it's always fun to get with them, but you never want to be third. You always want to be the best. And it's going to be a real battle, but there's a lot of respect between all the coaches and us. And it's fun. Just let the kids duke it out.
Yeah. You want to do well in every meet, but man, when you're pumping gas and you look over at the next pump and there's a guy from another school, you like to have those bragging rights.
You do. You absolutely do. And nowadays, like all the kids know each other. They're all buds across schools. There's such more connection between the three schools. Even from when I was in high school, there was only the two Lee Summit, right? Lee Summit North and Lee Summit. We were rivals. We weren't buds after the race, but these guys are all buds. They all compete on the same AAU track teams. So it's all good, but you definitely want the bragging rights for sure.
What do you have coming up this week?
So we're going to host a 5-team meet with us, the two Raytown schools, Ruskin and Ray Peck, and that'll be a JV meet. And then the varsity will go to Blue Springs South. We'll have the Rusty Hodge meet. So that's usually pretty competitive. We'll go all in on that one and then take a week off for spring break, and then we'll get right back to it.
I think it's so great that they have the Bob Thorpe Invitational down at Ray Peck, have Rusty Hodge at Blue Springs South, Gary Parker over at Blue Springs. they're not right in your backyard in Lee Summit, but how important is it to go out and have a competitive showing against teams in the immediate area?
Well, when we're going to compete with them, come championship season, district sectionals, you want to know, you want to have as much film as you can on everybody. You want to see who's running the opens, who's throwing. You want to see all that throughout the year and kind of get a good idea of, okay, at conference we want to attack this way. Mm-hmm. At districts we need to attack it this way. So the more you see, the more times you see these guys, these teams, I think the better.
Michael, it's always such a pleasure to visit with you. Michael Shortino, the head boys track and field coach from Lee Summit West High School. Continued success throughout the season, and buddy, you're always welcome here in the Sonic locker room.
Thank you. I appreciate it.